doing what the right thing is never disconnected from the situation at hand. And you have to weigh those two things together to figure out, like, when should I do this? When shouldn't I do this? When shouldn't I say this? When shouldn't I say that? And that's not something that you can just teach a child like that. Like, you can talk about it, but that's also lived experience
Mm,
to know how to do that. So I don't see it as hypocritical, because it would be hypocritical, I think, if he told C to do something that he wasn't going to do himself.
mm,
So if he told C, like, no, you can't mess with Sonny, but then he messes with Sonny,
yeah.
that would be hypocritical.
Okay.
But he's also trying to keep both of them separate from the local
No,
mobster.
that's tough, right there. I could appreciate that. My last question is, why does the priest accept Caligula's statement that my guy is bigger down here? What is the view of religion that emerges from that scene? Does the priest uh, tolerance of that suggest that religion is powerless to combat evil in this world, in the real world, in that movie world, or that God leaves room for human beings to exercise responsibility, free will, choice? Um, I know this is a lot of questions in one, but to kind of get to what I'm getting at is, how does this overlap with the different meanings of the fifth, meaning like the fifth as far as
Yeah.
like, the 10 commandments, or as well as pleading the fifth as far as
Yeah.
Constitution.
Yeah, I think part of it, I think, like, probably the original intention of the scene was to be funny
Mm,
and to also, like, show the reach of Sonny. But I think the question that you're asking is, like, a deeper question, because what it reveals is a lack of faith on the part of the priest,
mm,
because he really shouldn't have said that
right,
to
right,
him, right? There can be no, like, depending on your spiritual orientation, there's, like, an idea of, like, as above, so
right,
below.
right,
So if this thing is stronger down here, then that would mean that the other thing, it'd have to be stronger up there as
right.
well. And that's not how it works, right? So the question that you're saying, it really reveals a crisis of conscience for the priest. And it also kind of shows how there's so many people in the neighborhood that are not really operating above board, regardless of the position that they're in.
Gotcha.
So that's what you got there. All right. So I got mine. All right. So I got a couple for you. My first one is kind of funny, and it's kind of like, well, I don't know if it's funny, but it's within the movie. Yo, what happened to C's mom in the second half of the film, man?
Yo, I'm thinking like, yo, she's just on some housewife bonbons, watching TV type joint, and they were like, yo, this is not interesting. We don't need her. She's just filler for, whatever have you.
They just, they just, I mean, like, from the last time you see her
Mhm.
is, like, I think when he's like, when Lorenzo's on the balcony thing with her, and then that's it. Like, you don't see her in the rest of the whole movie. Like, I was like, what
I
happened?
mean, no,
What happened to
shout
C's
out to
mom?
Catherine Narducci. She was awesome in what's the joint with Bumpy Johnson that just came out with the
Hoodlum.
no, 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 no. That Hoodlum is the movie with um Lawrence Fishburne, but the
Yeah, but it's with
Forrest
Bumpy Johnson
Whitaker,
in the
yeah,
movie.
no, with Forrest Whitaker that came out, and Swiss Beat,
Oh, Godfather of
yeah,
Harlem.
she was dope in that.
Yeah.
She's and her resume is impeccable, but in this particular movie, they were just like, "Yo, you've said all you need to say. We're good."
So she's all right. I wonder if she left Lorenzo because she was tired of him
Well, he asked her
driving the
like, "Yo,
car.
are you tired of being with a bus driver?" And she was not.
Yeah,
She was like, "Nah." But again,
I think she dipped
nah,
on him.
she's
That's what
loyal,
I think.
man. She's loyal.
Nah, she did. She did. She didn't even show up to the funeral.
Well, not everybody went to the funeral, and you got to remember too, he came to say, "Hey, I can understand that you did love my son. I didn't hate you. There was a
Yeah,
form of respect there, but I just didn't get down with the lifestyle you led, and I couldn't allow my son, my only son, to travel down that path."
got it. I'm gonna still say she dipped on Lorenzo,
It's
but
cold
that's gonna
blooded.
that's gonna be that. All right, next question. So where is C 10 years later?
Um,
Did-
I think that he has an affinity for black women, and he went down south. He's in Atlanta. He's doing his thing. He's with the Ice Spices, even though she's from New York. But he's with that type of gal. He's doing his thing as a dirty old man because he loves chocolate.
and that's what. All right, that was good. That went a surprisingly different way than I thought it was going to. All right, next question. Is it odd? Just okay. Now, my backstory on this one is just kind of knowing how the Italian culture works around family.
Mhm.
is it odd that Sonny wasn't married and didn't have kids of his own?
No, not at all. Because he understands in that lifestyle, in that profession, if you will, you can't have no attachments. You got to be able to be like, yo, I'm out. And I think that because he does have a heart, I mean, this guy is not heartless. I think he didn't want to have to bring his children in a world in which he knows that has a short lifespan, that they would be a means to get at him. I don't think he's like, nah, I don't need anybody to apply pressure to me through my kids and through my wife.
Hmm. Okay, so a decision of convenience, or as you would say, part of his business
Yeah, no
model.
question. And you got to remember,
Part of
he
his
told
model.
him,
Yep.
I had three loves in my life all at once at 16. He got it out of his system,
That's
and
right.
he's
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
to go.
Yep. That's it.
Yeah.
Good point. All right, cool. All right, here's my last one. This kind of brings us back to where we started. Talking about Robert De
Yes,
Niro and his roles.
full circle.
What are your top 5 Robert De Niro roles?
Well, I want you to go first, man. Let me hear what you got.
No, no, no. I'm asking the questions, man. No, I'm asking the questions. I'm asking the questions. What you got?
You beat,
Nah.
you beat me to the punch. I'm rocking with, in no particular order. I'm going with James Jimmy Conway. I'm rocking with Vito Corleone, Neil
Mm-hmm,
McCauley, Sam Ace
mm-hmm.
Rothstein, and Frank Sheeran. So, in order,
Frank Sheeran.
Sheeran is from The Irishman, uh,
Okay. Of
Ace, Casino, Neil is
course.
Heat,
Heat. Yep.
Vito is Godfather 2, and last but not least, James Jimmy McCauley. Come on, man. Rest in power. Ray Liotta. Of course, got
Mm-hmm.
Joe Pesci. Come on, man. You know what time it is. Yeah,
Goodfellas.
no question. Come on.
Yeah, Goodfellas. Yeah, that's a good list.
Thank you, sir.
I mean, yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's a good list. I would the only one that I would add is Max Cady, Cape Fear. I talked about it at the
Mm-hmm.
beginning. Like he's great in that joint,
So what you
man. He's
taking off then? Because you can only have five.
so this is the thing. So ironically, I would have to. Well, this is gonna start a firestorm of things, but I actually didn't like Goodfellas that much, man.
What?
I actually did. I know, man. I know. My gangster
Wow.
movie card is gonna. I know.
Woo.
I did not like Goodfellas that much, man.
Wow. That.
I did not. I know. I know, man. I know. I know it's burying the lead to say it, man. But it's one of those. It's one of those movies. I really want to like it.
Yeah.
I just don't. I've watched it. I really don't like it, and so it doesn't register to me as like a really good movie. And I don't really. I actually I like a Bronx. Ironic, it's funny. I actually the beginning of A Bronx Tale is very similar to the beginning of
Mm-hmm.
Goodfellas, like telling the
Yeah.
story about
Mm-hmm.
how he's like working with
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
in the little club thing and everything. I actually like Bronx Tale more. I think A Bronx Tale is actually a better movie than Goodfellas, and I know, like that's like I know it's like yeah, it's out there. I know I'm gonna get threatening emails and messages for that one, but
Wow.
that's where it
I
is,
don't know.
man.
I don't know.
There it is.
I don't know what to
I
say.
know, I know, I know. It's nothing to say, man. But you forced it out of me by saying that. So on to the themes and closing.
And on that note,
On to the closing.